What's up guys, Carter here from Part-Time Overland. This is my 98 4Runner. I picked this up earlier in January of this year as a project car, and to be honest, when I got it, it was in fairly rough shape. The whole front end had been damaged from a deer hit from a few previous owners ago. But the really good thing is the frame was in really great shape and the drivetrain was in really great shape. This vehicle has 300,000 miles on it, a little over, so it's a high mileage vehicle. But like I said, both frame and engine were in really great shape. It has the top of the line engine for that year, the famous 5VZ FE, 3.4 liter engine. This thing isn't super powerful, as many of you know, but honestly, in a stock configuration with no extra weight added, this thing zips around quite a bit. My personal 4Runner, I've weighed down with quite a lot of extra gear, so it's really fun to actually get back in one of these things that's stock and just zip around. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I thought it'd be really fun to do a little POV tour of this thing. I'm actually about to sell it. I have a buyer picking it up tomorrow. And so I'm just doing one final day of content with this thing before we get rid of it. Here we go on the interior. It's got the kind of moon mist gray interior, factory e-locker, of course 4-wheel drive, and let's get this thing started. There we go. Starts right up with 306,000 miles on it. I'm gonna do a couple things here. I'm gonna turn on overdrive, or turn off overdrive, so we're locked into third gear. I'm also going to hit this ECT switch, which I've actually moved over. Normally they're located in the center console on the 98s, but I've put them over here. I've got the rear window switch as well, so we can roll down the rear window. I'm gonna keep that up for now, just so it's a bit quieter. Put our seatbelt on, and I'm gonna put it into second gear for now because we're gonna be zipping around these canyons. So let's check for traffic. And let's see what this puppy can do at 300,000 miles. Like I said, my personal 4Runner, Roxy, has been turned into an overland monster. She's got rooftop tent, bigger tires, front and rear bumpers, and a massive storage build in the back. So driving her, she's got the same engine, but a lot less power just because of how much she weighs. I think empty weight on these is supposed to be about 3,600 pounds. My personal 4Runner Roxy is sitting at about, I think it was 5,600 pounds the last time I weighed. That was with some extra tools and stuff, but still very, very heavy. We're entering some dirt here. We don't need to do this. This road is pretty smooth, but I'm actually gonna throw it into 4-wheel drive. Hopefully you can see the dash light come on, just because we'll have a bit more traction, and why not? It's always good to test out your 4-wheel drive. It actually, I didn't learn this till recently, but it actually says in the manual of these 4Runners, even if you don't use this for off-roading, it says I think it's every couple of weeks to actually engage 4-wheel drive while you're just driving straight and level on a highway, just to keep that transfer case all working and in nice inoperable operation. In all my off-road adventures, I'm obviously using the 4-wheel drive all the time, so I don't really need to worry about that, but it's nice to know it works. Smooth shiftly into 4-wheel drive. For lucky, sometimes I will see moose or elk up here. Usually I see them around sunset or thereabouts, but you never know. I gotta say, these third generation 4Runners are probably some of my favorite vehicles of all time. Before I had my personal 4Runner, I had a Subaru, an old Forester, and that thing was awesome as well, but it's lacking in some features. These 4Runners are, even in stock configuration, very, very capable. A big part of that, obviously, is the clearance, having that solid axle, and if you have one of the ones with the rear locker, that helps a lot. Low range is a massive, massive help. But they're just great cars. They're really high quality. They're easy to work on. They're not the best on gas, but for the capabilities you get out of them, they're pretty darn good. The funny thing too is, with all the people complaining about gas, the gas mileage on these 3rd gen 4Runners is not honestly too much worse than some of the newer vehicles, including the new 4Runners. In fact, I believe my 4Runner, fully loaded down with all its off-road bumpers and all camping gear and all that stuff, was actually getting better gas mileage than my buddy's 2016 Tacoma. So if that's any consolation for you guys on gas mileage. And this is an absolutely gorgeous drive. We are just about to come off this pavement, or sorry, this dirt. So I'm gonna pop it back into 2-wheel drive. I think it's actually in 2-wheel drive now. Sometimes it has a little bit of a tough time actually registering that on the dash. So I'm just gonna go like this. Usually if we pop it into reverse real quick, it'll actually register that it, there we go. Felt that click, little solenoid. I'm gonna make sure, okay, overdrive is off. I'm actually gonna turn left because we're gonna run out of time here. I have to be back for an appointment. But let's see what this little thing can do. Like I said, in its stock configuration, without any extra weight on it, I've actually been pretty darn happy with how peppy it is. It's no sports car, obviously, but yeah, again, I'm just used to driving a much more clunky version of this 4Runner, much more weighed down, lifted. So this 4Runner is in stock configuration, doesn't have any lift. And yeah, it's a pretty fun little car. And again, even in stock form, this is fairly capable off-road. There we go, getting up to 60. If you hear any random little noises, I have some things in the back clunking around, but overall, it's a pretty smooth ride. All right, well, I had some GoPro troubles. I normally use these GoPros for FPV and using them on drones, so they get a lot of airflow, and I've never had an overheating issue. But apparently, they're not too good with overheating, so this one overheated and turned off on me. Anyway, we are back on the road. We're just driving through the little town of Nederland, and I'm just gonna do a quick little stop down here at Barker, at the reservoir. Barker Dam Recreation Area. I've been doing a little history lessons on when they built this thing. It sounds like they finished Barker Reservoir, or finished Barker Dam in 1911. I believe construction started in, it was either 1900 or 1901. And they actually had a railway that came all the way from Boulder that was supplying all the necessary parts and pieces to build that dam. Before that, it was just a river. It basically looked, yeah, like Boulder Creek, just higher up. But today we have this big lake, and let me just park so we can end this video here. Just leave the vehicle running for now. Turn on the headlights for a second. There we go. Come look at these nice new fully glass headlights. Freshly painted hood. Honestly, the rest of the paint's in fairly good condition for how old this vehicle is. So, there we have it, you guys. 3rd gen 4Runner, 1998, 300,000 miles on the odometer, and she still runs like a champ. And I'm gonna leave you with this 4Runner and this beautiful view. So thanks so much for tuning in. If you guys want to check out any more content, I have a lot of content on this 4Runner here. I documented the entire process of actually restoring the vehicle. I have a lot more 4Runner content, DIY stuff, off-roading, all that. So if you're interested, make sure to subscribe, go to the page, and check out all my other content. Otherwise, for now, my name's Carter from Part-Time Overland. There you can see my beautiful reflection, and I will catch you next time back on the trails. See ya.